Now, what I want to do is kind of back up what I talked about in the article regarding generating points, but I'm generating these basically from what the surface was. So let's do this. What I want to do is I want to throw a break line in here, and yeah, let's put on 3D break lines, and let's make it sharp. And we're going to call this ditch. And we're going to add it to that. Now I've got the surface set on manual rebuild for you business center users. That'll mean that it won't drive you crazy with kind of calling out some sort of crazy information along the way. And what I'm going to do is just pick up the native elevations and kind of generate at least the center line of this thing. And I'll say I want a new one. We should probably turn 3D break lines on so you can see that better. And then let's come through and pick up another one. Now, if you have to zoom in to get that point, that'll help you out. And let's crack out another new one. And again, it doesn't matter which way you're going. Zoom in. Ooh, that really got big. So I'm using a 3D XI mouse from the 3D mouse people, which is a great mouse, but sometimes when I kind of want to go fast, I zip around and it kind of moves a little bit too quick. So there we go. So I can close that, and we now have the break lines that make this thing look good. If you remember, when I showed an image, these were flat areas here because there was nothing connecting them. Well, now what I'm going to do is come here, and I'm going to show the old surface. Okay, and you'll see these are flat triangles, so these are all flat areas here. So I'm going to right click on this, and I'm going to say properties, and I can click on the surface and right click and say rebuild surface, and it'll rebuild the surface. I've got it set on by user. So now this thing looks pretty good. So let's talk about what we want to do to help the field get some points in this thing. So I've got to tell somebody in the field what to do. Now these are the edges of what's going to be that kind of a concrete line ditch area. They want the finish because what they're going to do is set this and drop down. So I'm going to click on create a point, and I'm going to call this D1, and the layer, let's just put it on points for right now. I would get more detailed and try to put it somewhere that made more sense, but I just want to show you what you can do with these things. And we're going to make it a grid point, and I'm just going to pick that location, and it's going to pick up the elevation, and I'm going to add that point. And then I'll do the same again. Oops, I want to zoom in a little bit more here, pick this up and get those points. So what I want to do now is probably turn on the points layer so we can see the magic happen if we're actually creating magic. So there's D2, there's D1. Now what I may do is I may lay these out kind of in the way that the field's going to do them. This is where the experience really comes in handy, because if I know how I would lay it out in the field, I would kind of come back and just do it that way. So right now I'm generating layout points that are basically from a surface, and everybody thinks it's got to be the top of a rim or something that was dedicated as a point layout feature in the plans. But I'm here to show you that it doesn't necessarily have to be. Now I threw another one in here because this is quite a long run, and I wanted to get kind of a point online, if you will, to get it set up. And I could throw another one in there and give us a little bit more organized layout of the thing. But now that we've got this, we have an absolute solid location for what we're doing, and I can send this out to the field. I can take all these points and just throw them on a ditch points layer if I want. That way for layout, it makes it easier in the field. But I am in the near future going to start talking about field to finish stuff and kind of point nomenclature. So look for that in the future. But in the meantime, enjoy. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you all soon.